Welcome to the Drachnic and Friends official podcast, where we peel back the curtain on puzzle games and the people who make them. I'm Syrenne from Drachnic and Friends, and I'm joined as always by Alan Hazelden, the head Drachnic at Drachnic and Friends.
Hey there.
Today, we're joined by Ausiàs Dalmau, who you may know from their work on Is This Seat Taken? How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Of course, we've been excited to chat to you. Can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got into games?
I'm Ausiàs. I'm from Barcelona. I love to play video games, as I guess all of us that get into video games, at least from my age. I played a lot of PlayStation back in the day, a lot of strategy games as well, like Age of Empires and stuff like that. And then from there, I didn't know what to do with my life when I finished high school. And I was not a very good student, but I was good with math. So I said, let's go into programming. And it was the time where a lot of universities started making video game programs. So I just mixed both things and joined the degree at the university in Barcelona. That's how I started. But then after that, I started doing games with Sergi. That's the co-founder of Poti Poti. But then since it was hard to make it in our own, we searched for jobs. There's a lot of mobile companies in Barcelona, so we went for that. And after some experience, like some years of experience, then we reconvened, we get back together to make our first game, Is This Seat Taken?
And what kind of games were you interested in making when you got started?
Management games, I believe that's what I enjoyed the most. Yeah, like UI-based games where you manage things and you make them grow. That's a thing that I really wanted to pursue because it's the games that I liked. But then when you start to make those games, it's very easy to add things and they just pile up like one thing on top of each other. So the first game that we actually started working on, me and Sergi and some other friends at university, was a puzzle game. Because it was first of all, it was like a thing back then, no, with mobile games, to just make a puzzle game and put it on a mobile phone. It was like an easy, with quotes, things to do. So yeah, we started with that. But also, Sergi loves puzzle games, and it's a thing that he enjoys a lot. I like puzzle games, but I think that sometimes they are a bit too hardcore, like puzzle games. But well.
And yeah, I mean, Is This Seat Taken definitely couldn't really be described as hardcore. It's very relaxing, very generous, very undemanding.
Yeah, I think we mixed a bit of both things. He wanting to do a puzzle game and me not wanting it to be hard. It can be challenging at times, Is This Seat Taken, but I always felt that puzzle games are very easy to frustrate the player, especially if you're not used to them. And it creates this feeling on the player where you just feel dumb because you've been doing this thing for an hour and then suddenly you are stuck and you feel stupid. And it's a feeling that I don't like on me, and I don't like to make it feel to other players. And although I understand that this is criticism that we have with Is This Seat Taken, that maybe for puzzle experts it's too easy. But well, we cannot. You cannot make everyone happy, I guess.
I wouldn't necessarily say people think it's too easy. I think it's more that it is just a very approachable one of these. How did you, throughout development, ensure that the game wasn't getting too difficult or complicated? Because, of course, one of the things about puzzle games and the people who make them is that when you're making the puzzles, you, of course, would know all of the solutions. And so it can be a little bit tricky to do difficulty balance sometimes.
With This Is It Again, we never knew all the solutions. because like I saw the Thinky Direct. There was a talk there was someone make like a program to discover all the solutions from different puzzle games, and they did Easy Taken, and the level that he chose had like 300 different solutions. So we didn't explore that, but we had this idea from the beginning that all the puzzles had to have more than one solution for sure. Because when puzzles have only one solution, then it's obviously gonna be hard. So that was like because with the previous puzzle games that we did before when we were at university and also in game jams and stuff like that, we saw that very quickly that when it was very easy to design a puzzle with only one solution. Well, it depends on the puzzle that you're making, but in our case, it was easy to make that design. But then for the player, it's hard, and it's also harder, at least for us, to scale the difficulty. So for us, it was more about finding in the design how to make things interesting rather than how to make things more difficult. So how do we make that the next puzzle that it's going to be more or less the same as the previous one? It's a bit different, so it's interesting for the player and he wants to keep playing until the end.
Yeah, I love that interesting versus difficult difference, because they're very much not the same thing. What were some of the things you were looking for to emphasize that, oh yeah, this one is going to feel interestingly different to the one before?
I think if you play the game, there's these levels that are like not on the main storyline. It was our time to like, okay, let's make something completely different, quotes or completely, because it's the same game, no? But like something more different, so the player really sees like a change in mechanics, let's call it like that. So that's for us was like the maximum creativity point. And then on the main story levels, it was like basically adding like different small mechanics or changing the combinations. Even like, for example, like there's a boat, no, that adds this new layout and adds the party people, and then there's the second boat, no. So how can we make the second boat that we didn't have any new mechanics for it not feel super repetitive? So we basically combined the different mechanics that appeared on another level, like the sunscreen, and added it into the level, and removed the first level was very focused on the party, and we made less focus on the party and more on like the sunscreen and the smells on a small space. So that was hard. Like that was when it was harder to find interesting things. Like, yeah, when it's a new scenario, like it's very easy to find new things. No, like on the airport that we have the queues, but yeah.
So at what point in development did you feel like you had a game and not just a series of mechanics?
I think like with the previous thing about making the game interesting, at first it was only buses, and we thought, let's make a story about a driver and how the stories that he hears on the passengers. No? That was our first idea of the game, because it all started with the bus. But then when we started playing, we saw, okay, this is gonna last, or even it's gonna be a 30-minute game, or this is gonna be super boring all the time, the buses. So we were a bit stuck there. But then we thought, okay, let's try to add different scenarios and see if they bring different things, basically, and see if it can be an interesting game. And then when we made the wedding, and after the wedding we made I believe we made the diner, then we saw, okay, yeah, we have something here, because it adds different things, and also like the game works a lot because it's relatable. No? The scenarios are relatable. You see the reactions of the characters, and sometimes you probably feel related, no, like to to be annoyed on the bus about someone with a speakerphone. It's very relatable, at least to me. So when we saw that we had this chance of adding new scenarios and making it interesting, and that the game could last at least a couple of hours of levels, that's when we thought we had a game.
And you mentioned before about wanting to make it so that it wasn't too challenging. Do you feel like you hit that balance fairly well from the start, or did it take you a while to figure out what the right difficulty level was for the game?
I think it took a bit. We made some playtesting, but the levels at first were harder than they are now on the final game. Yeah, and we thought that also that things at the beginning, we thought that things were clearer and very easy to understand, and then we saw that maybe some mechanics were not that easy to understand for others, because that's also like a frustration point. And it's not only being able to solve the levels, it's also being able to understand the mechanics. And there are things that are very easy to understand, like the smell. No, this is the area. This is where the smell affects. Don't put someone that doesn't like smells there. But then there's the hat at the cinema, for example, that it's not very clear because you're not seeing the point of view of the person that you put behind the hat. So, but then we introduced like the little dialogues that explain it, and we saw that it worked really well. And we used a lot of these dialogues to explain mechanics that we saw in playtests that were hard to understand. And yeah, then apart, like from here, it was fairly easy to do this, to move on this difficulty level that the game moves. It's true that by the end we were very used to the game, and it was a bit harder to get the sweet spot. And I think some levels are a bit too hard, like the stadium and the stadium levels are maybe a bit too hard. And then there's a diner that I made that I thought it was super easy, and then apparently it is super confusing at the end. But apart from that, I think we're very happy with how the difficulty of the level of the game is overall.
How did you decide on the amount of gameplay dialogue versus non-gameplay dialogue?
So we started with the premise that people don't read.
You're right.
Excellent decision.
Yeah, and then from there we said, okay, how many lines do people that do not read, or most people don't, like with the premise that people don't read, how many lines is too much lines? And then we said, okay, like 5 lines, it's something that most people will read. So most dialogues are maximum 5 dialogue lines, which is not a lot to work on with. Like it was a challenge to make a story with this many dialogue lines. But then there's also, like when we created the level, we had stops, no? And then we said, okay, in this stop, we're going to introduce these mechanics. And then we would tell Alexis, that's the person that wrote the dialogues, this needs an explanation. So if there's something that needs an explanation, there needs to be a dialogue. And then if there's nothing that needs an explanation, there can be a small joke or there can be a storyline. But maximum 2 dialogues per level. So we have maximum 2 dialogues per level, unless there's a lot of mechanics that need explanation. That I believe this only happens at the beginning of the game. So yeah, we had these 2 rules, like maximum 5 lines. That it's obviously not set in stone, and there are longer dialogues like in the game. Like especially on the story in the end, it was necessary. So there are longer dialogues, but by the end, we also thought like whoever is invested in the story is going to read it, and whoever is not invested anymore is going to just keep it. So we didn't care that much if it was a bit longer. But yeah, that was our main rules, like maximum 5 lines, maximum 2 dialogues per level. And then also the lines had to be maximum. They also had a maximum length. Like, we were very strict with this because like on a previous puzzle game that we worked on, we let the dialogues like free and whatever we felt like. And we saw that they were not working, and we wanted the people to read it and not be an issue. Like, since we're using it to explain the game, it can be like people not reading can lead to frustration.
I'm curious about the process of working with Wholesome Games. How did that collaboration get started?
So I went to Gamescom in 2024. Like, it's okay. So when we started the game, we were working on other companies, like just me as a programmer, Sergi as a technical artist. But then I was fired because a publisher pulled out at last moment. So we were working on this game on our spare time, and we said, okay, since I had this opportunity, let's go on and make our own game and build our own studio. So Sergi quit his job, and we started working on the game. And our idea was to self-publish, because with our previous experience, we saw that most publishers take advantage of the game, and a lot of times they are not. You don't really see the investment unless it's like a wonderful, like besides of the money investment. No, you don't see that they put in the effort to make your game have the best chance. At least that's what I saw previously with my older jobs. So yeah, we thought to self-publish, and then I went to Gamescom in 2024, and I saw an older friend, and he told me that since I wanted to self-publish, maybe Wholesome Games would be interesting, since we were not looking for funding, although money would have been good, and Wholesome Games doesn't offer funding. But Wholesome Games was a great match for the game, because it's a wholesome, cozy game, easy taken. So yeah, I went home and I spoke with Sergi, and it looked like it was a good fit from paper, no, like from what we could see on the website. So I sent them an email, and then we talked for a bit, and they really liked our game, and they thought that it was a very good game, and so we went for it. And I think it was a great decision, because thanks to this, we've been obviously on the Wholesome Direct, and they have a great network of creators, and they also have the newsletter, and they have advised us on all the marketing process. That's what we were interested, because we had the knowledge to make the game, but we didn't have the knowledge to actually market it. So we are very happy with how the things have been going. And yeah, apart from that, they also helped us with the dialogues of the game. It's not something that they usually do, I believe, but we asked them if they could help us a bit, because we are not native English speakers, and also our story idea was a bit more dark, so it was not that wholesome. So they helped us make it a bit more wholesome.
What was the original idea?
I'm curious. Yeah, well, spill the beans.
If I remember correctly, Nat was struggling editorial book. Like, she worked for an editorial book company. I don't know if it's called like that. Yeah, she was like struggling in life and finding herself like in the main story. But yeah, it would probably not have ended like so happily. It would been more like what life is usually like, that you are probably in a better place, but you don't necessarily are on a happy place with doing films, even if it's just an indie movie. But yeah, it was not darker. Like, it was not dark. But it was just more like, I think, like,
it wasn't
European
uplifting
cinema.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
That makes sense. And then, how have you found the reception to the game?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Like if I'm honest, we thought that the game was gonna, it was not gonna succeed. We thought it was gonna sell bad, like before when we started. But we thought it's our first game. Let's ship it fast and then move into another project. Learn the process. See how we need to market the game. Learn by doing mistakes, and then we do another game. That was our idea at first. But then when I sent the email to Wholesome and we saw that they were interested, that they liked it, we thought, okay, maybe this game has a chance. And then we added more things. And I believe this is also when I applied to the Darkneck. I don't remember the name. The Darkneck grant.
New Voices grant.
The New Voices grant, yes. And then we then we announced the game like 4 or 5 months later, and it was a great reception. Like the trailer got like 400 or almost 400,000 views on YouTube. It was something that we were not expecting at all. And then Nintendo liked the game and put it on the Indie Direct. So yeah, it's been surreal. Like we would never imagine, and now like the game has sold way more than what we expected, and also now we got nominated for a BAFTA. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's a level of success that's like extremely impressive, like for any game, let alone your first commercial game. So yeah, big congrats. I know when we saw it for the New Voices grant, like it was a kind of a case of like, wow, we love this, and like this is so good already that like we don't think you need us. Like, that was, I think we were kind of proven out.
That was, our perspective was like, oh, what could a year of mentorship do for this game? This game is good and done.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, like at that point, I think we were like thinking on, like if we would have got the grant, like put it into marketing. And I think that was the idea. Was what I spoke with you as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, like it's been great. So it was nice to meet you. So
good. Yeah, no, of course. So after that, the game gets really successful. It kind of blows up. What happened after the game came out? Like, did you just kind of have to take a break and process, or were you immediately on to working on more things? Or
so we wanted to continue working on new things, and we thought the game was done and that it needed nothing else. So we even we finished the game on June, and then we had the whole July, and we started already working on another game. But then the release came, and there was like a lot of work suddenly with a lot of things that are not actually game development, I guess. What they are, but not what we enjoy. That it's making the game, like interviews and going to places and stuff like that we don't really. It's not like our thing, I guess. But yeah, it's been great. Like it's a whole new experience, and then players asked us to add things like quality of life things, and we made another update with like I think I spent most of hours when the game came out, like doing these things and basically replying to emails. And then in September we started working on an update with more languages, because that's something that we wanted to do from the beginning. We had more money, would have added more languages, because it's a game that appeals to everyone. And we saw, especially at Gamescom, that kids like were not able to play because it's like Dutch, like we didn't have Dutch, and Dutch kids would came and like usually I lived in the Netherlands, and usually Dutch people all know English, but obviously Dutch kids are still learning. So they needed help from their parents. And so we wanted to make it easier and add a few languages. And apart from that, people asked us like mid-level saving that we didn't have because we thought, well, I thought that it was not necessary since levels are pretty short. But people wanted that, so, and we added a couple more things to the game, and we made an update in November. And then we took a break until the end of the year. And now we start working on a new game, and we also do some stuff for Easy Taken, but slowly.
Nice. Have you talked at all about what you're working on next?
No. We are prototyping it, so we're still very early. But it's a puzzle kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's a puzzle. I think it's a puzzle game, but I don't know. Like sometimes it's hard to define. Like,
is it a puzzle game or a puzzle game?
Yeah, like sometimes you if you go into Steam and you click on the puzzle category, like most of the games that appear there, I don't consider them puzzle games.
You don't consider Star Wars Jedi Survivor a puzzle game?
Yeah, no. So yeah, but I do think that what we're making is a puzzle game. But yeah, it has I don't know, it has elements of other things. So but we'll see if it ever, like, if we find it fun to make it into a full game or not. We're still on the process.
Awesome. Do you have any questions for us?
Are you doing the New Voices grant this year as well?
We haven't confirmed anything, but we'd definitely like to. I can't imagine a world where we don't do it again this year.
Yeah. It's very important to us, so it would be very weird if we didn't.
We usually start thinking about it in earnest after Cerebral Puzzle Showcase wraps up. So it's still got a couple more months.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the studio focus is right now, is just trying to get everything ready for Cerebral in May.
Not yet.
Although, depending on when this podcast goes out, it might be after Cerebral Puzzle Showcase. So,
gosh, yeah.
When this goes out, maybe we are thinking about New Voices.
Are there going to be a lot of games on the Cerebral Puzzle Showcase?
Definitely. We had over 900 submissions this year, which is a new record. So yeah, it's gonna be a great one as usual.
It doesn't help that, or it doesn't hurt that more. We're seeing the showcase come up in unrelated YouTube videos now.
Right.
People are starting to plan around the showcase, whereas like the first couple of years, we just ran around and told people, we're doing a showcase. And they said, oh, that's neat. And then we said, is your game on a sale cooldown? And sometimes they would say no. And then we would put them in the showcase. But like, I think that the consistency with which we've been doing it for the last few years has made it so that more people in this space can like plan around. If you have a May launch or you're looking for a May discount and you're in the thinky puzzle space, Cerebral is like a really good moment where a lot of people who are not in this space come in and take a look at what we're up to.
Yeah, like we also plan around the Steam events. But yeah, I don't know if maybe it comes out after, no, but the CCTG will be discounted during the Cerebral Puzzle Showcase. So
yep,
we also plan around it.
Yes,
right.
No, it's very awesome and exciting, and like we love it. It's one of my favorite times of the year, just because it's like it is kind of the moment of industry ambassadorship, of being able to show everyone what cool stuff people have been up to for people who only tune into this once a year. And if you're listening to this because you found us during Cerebral Puzzle Showcase, you should subscribe, because we're talking about this kind of game all year round.
Do you like puzzle games that are not? Yes, I imagine that you are both very hardcore puzzle game fans. Maybe not, but
I mean,
do you
I
enjoy like easier
Oh yeah.
games like this Taken?
Yes. No. Alan is much deeper into mechanics than I am as a player. As a player, I like a whole bunch of different types of games, and so I am very, very happy with an easier game. I don't need every puzzle game I play to be designed for sickos, as we say. But Alan a little less so. But I don't want to speak for him fully.
I like games which have a lot of novelty, or games where it's the same kind of thing, but I really, really enjoy it. So yeah, I find Is This Seat Taken really, really charming, even though it's not super, super hard. I do mostly play puzzle games these days. I don't play a lot outside of that. But within the puzzle games I play, there's like a pretty wide range in like what fires the neurons, what makes me go, oh yeah, this one's pretty special. Though I do have a fondness for a grid-based puzzle game that is slightly harder than it ought to be.
You don't say.
Have you been playing anything good recently?
I nowadays play games to just tune out mentally. So I don't know if it's what you're looking for in this podcast, because in a puzzle game you usually don't. You need to be concentrated. But I played today Modulus. It's a game that came out today. Came out like the day that we're recording this, like 2 hours ago. And I played a bit of Modulus because I worked on it. And it's a factory game. Like it has a bit of puzzle about placing the things on the factory floor. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, both Rene are familiar with Modulus. I didn't realize you worked on that.
I worked on it like as a programmer, not as a designer. And yeah, apart from that, I've been playing like Battlefront, like 2, the online multiplayer Star Wars.
Yeah, the older one or the newer one?
The newer one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I play like one game before going to sleep, and that's my gaming time right now.
Is that a de-stressor for you? Okay.
Yes, because I don't need to think about it, just mechanics. You know, you just go there and
capture the
people.
Point. Yeah.
Shoot people, and that's it.
Every time I talk to people who play competitive online games before bed, I'm like, I could never imagine this in a million years. I'm fine with playing a hardcore competitive game, but it is just like that riles me up. It doesn't wind me down.
Yeah, but like I spend most of my day either programming or like thinking about things, like solving problems. I guess that's kind of my life. No, I guess it's similar to yours. Yeah. So when I'm like on my free time, I don't like to continue like solving problems. I just like
you just
on the weekend. Yeah.
You just want to aim the right stick and pull the trigger.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, like on the weekends, maybe I play other things. Like as I said, I like management games and city builders. So Cities Skylines or Kingdoms and Castles or like stuff like that.
It's very funny, but yeah, no, I guess it makes sense. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we wrap up?
No, like if you want to talk about porting, like because Alan asked me a question, but I believe I didn't answer that. But apart from that, I'm good. Whatever you need.
Alan, do you?
No, I think we're good.
Awesome. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. Where can people find you online?
Me as a person, I have social media, but not. I'm not the kind of person that talks about games in social media. But you can find the social media of our company, Potty Potty, and it's usually pottypotty.studio or Potty Potty Studio, everything together.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for joining us and chatting about Is This Seat Taken?
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It was fun.
Of course.
Yeah, it was fun.
And thank you for listening to the Draconeck and Friends official podcast. Our music is by Priscilla Snow, who you can find at ghoulnoisemusic.com. Our podcast artwork is by Adam DeGrandis. Our podcast is edited by Melanie Zawodniak. Please rate and review us on your podcast service of choice, and be sure to tune in next episode for more interesting conversations.